Yes, everyone, it's me, it's Michael, back again. This is your match preview for the Merseyside derby. So God, he's the dickhead. Now, don't start this shit. I'll just get a transfer to another channel. Just no sweat on me.
I'm sorry. Look, go. The floor's yours, John.
Yes, everyone, it's me. It's him back again. Yeah, everyone, it's me, it's him. This is your match preview for the Merseyside derby. Michael, what do you think?
I'm dying, man. Oh, my God.
Yeah, let's make this a bit more professional. Take 28. Yes, everyone, it's me, it's him, back again. This is your match preview for the Merseyside derby. Liverpool versus Everton, Wednesday night, which we will be doing a watch-along for if no one has seen the news yet. Want to talk about the match. Also want to talk about Everton releasing their financial figures today and what it will mean going forward with the transfer market. I'm a bit disappointed. I thought we were more clear of PSR than what we are. It does look like it was worse than what we all thought, and we are going to be restricted by it for quite a while.
I was never expecting us to be in the profit. You know, we were £53 million in the reds this year. We've been hindered a little bit by the 2 years previous. But I don't think it's fair moving forward. We've already been hit with points deductions for them years. I don't think it's fair. And I also don't think it's right when you've got Chelsea, who have just sold their ladies team to another subsidiary, getting away with it. I don't agree with it. And if I was, and I'll be honest, if I was the Friedkin Group, I'd say fuck it. Because I'm not expecting Everton to get into Europe next season. I'm not expecting Everton to start challenging for the Champions League or the league title in 1 year. But I am expecting my football team to be better on the pitch. So we've got a shiny new stadium. We've got a fantastic fan base. I think we should just go for it. If we have to take a 4, 6, 8 point hit, do it. And Everton needs directors, need owners that are strong enough to go, actually, we've done it the right way. We haven't sold our ladies team to Toyota. We haven't sold, the under-16s to Roundhouse Capital Limited. We've done it properly, and yet we're being done for it. Yet there's other clubs that lose millions of pounds every year and get around it by some absolute bullshit. So I'm telling you now, for my opinion, I think we could probably spend 100 million. I reckon we could probably spend 100 million because the revenue is going to be up. The commercial element is going to be up at Bramley Moore, whereas all of those things weren't up at Goodison. So all of that's going to play into a factor by June next year. The other thing I would add, though, and I think you'd probably touch on it in a minute, if it means we need to sell a player or two, then so be it. And I know that's horrible to say, especially when we're talking about the players that we wouldn't want to sell. But this whole football team needs a rebuild. We need 12 players. We might have to sell someone to make that happen.
See, what worries me is the 12 players who are out of contract, the majority of them have been with us for quite a while. And look where we are finishing in the league. So it's obvious they're not good enough. So I don't think we can be afford to hand in these players another contract just because we can't go out and really spend what we wanted to. There is a saleable asset at the club. Jarrett Branthwaite, we were speaking about that before we come on camera. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Some people will agree, some people will disagree. But if it means selling Jarrett Branthwaite to allow Everton to do the rebuild that this squad needs, then so be it. So be it. Because it's all right keeping Jarrett Branthwaite at the club and not bringing money in from selling one of our saleable assets. But then on the flip side of that, you're going to have to give these players who aren't good enough to push us forward another 12-month deal. And if that's the case, mate, I'd just bite the bullet and take the money for Branthwaite from the highest bidder. I'm disappointed with the news that come out today. Yeah, the loss is not as bad as what it has been in the past. The loss has come down. You hit on Chelsea selling the women's team. They've also sold hotels to the parent company who have their fingers in the pies at Chelsea. They're getting away with it. The freaking group have got to be ballsy about this. And if Everton are restricted from what they sell, I'd like to think we've got the right people in place now to go to the Premier League and go, hang on a minute, look what Chelsea are getting away with. If City don't get what we're all expecting them to get, how did City get away with it? Why just Everton? Fuck yous, we're going to do what we want. And as you quite right say, the teams that look like are probably going to come up will probably go back down next season. I don't want to see Everton get another points deduction, but do you know if it means that, whether it be 4 or 5 point deduction, just be ballsy and rebuild this squad that's been needed for a couple of seasons now.
Yeah, and that's what we've got to do. You know, I can't be arsed with all of this. Oh, Everton, you know, we've got to be tight to PSR. Unless there is a genuine threat that Everton are going to get relegated as a result of breaking PSR, and do it. Build the team. Build the team. There's no way Everton are in a relegation battle next season. No way. I put my house on it. I don't even think we're close. So no. If Everton invest wisely, spend, you know, we know David Moyes is good with shoestring budgets. We know he is. He did a good job at West Ham. You know, it's not like he was spending millions and millions of pounds on Souček and Kufa, and both have been linked with Everton. You know, they're players there that didn't cost loads of money and yet have done a very good job at West Ham. So David Moyes is more than capable of buying a team that is capable of competing with little money. But that doesn't go with the narrative around Everton, which is this 52,888 seat stadium. I corrected that, by the way. I made sure I didn't say 53,000 seat stadium because there was a load of people in the comments digging me out for saying that number instead of going 112 less. So that's for you. But yeah, all in all, I just think just it sounds awful. We just got to deal with it. If it means selling a player, sell a player. If it means we can only spend 50 million and we got to sell a player, do it. There's going to be wages coming off the wage bill. We already know. And some big ones. We know that there's a couple of players that the team would like to give a new deal to. We know that Ghana. I think the club would like to keep Decore, but me and you know, we would probably, we rather wouldn't, but we would. We've also got to tie some other players down to a new contract. You know, I think Tarkowski's coming into his last 12 months of his deal. He needs a new contract. Dwight McNeil, he probably needs a new contract. There's players there that we've got to ring fence for the future, not because they're brilliant, but because we don't want this constant churn. So I think we've got to do that. But there's big wages coming off that book. You know, Calvert-Lewin, what's he on, 100 grand? That's coming off. Michael Keane, 90, 80 grand. That's coming off. Mason Holgate, £72,000 a week. That's coming off. You know, so there's money coming out of that PSR train as well. And Everton haven't been signing players on them type of wages. You know, Enjoy, I think he's on 45 grand a week. we're in that space. And the one thing we've showed with Ndai, albeit it was Kevin Farwell, is we could sign these players for relatively little money, £14 million, and they become good players. So we've got to keep doing it, John. But for me, I'm not disappointed. I'm not overly surprised. I just shrugged my shoulders and said we got to get on with it, because we have. We just got to get on with it.
I thought we would have been able to spend a bit more than it's looking like we could have spent legally, if you know what I mean. Thought they've got a sponsorship deal coming. You know, there's a few rumours flying around. The stadium sponsor is going to be Qatari Airways, and the shirt sponsor is going to be Toyota. Now, I'm only seeing what everyone else is seeing on social media. Bringing a sponsorship deal in, you know, and a shirt sponsor, does that help towards what we can spend, or doesn't it matter how much we bring in? Because look at Newcastle, you know, richest club in the world.
Well, it does matter, you know. But this is where Everton have got to box smart, because what this PSR thing currently doesn't talk about is naming rights and new shirt sponsor, as you say. So, you know, we're currently paid £20 million from Castor as the shirt manufacturer. We'll have a brand on the shirt, which rumours could be it's Toyota or Qatar, and then vice versa on the stadium. You know, one of them saying it could be £15 million or £10 million a year for the naming rights to the stadium, and it could be 10 to £15 million for the shirt as well. This is massive. These are massive things for Everton. You know, we need a shirt sponsor. I've noticed that if you look at things like training grounds for Spurs and Manchester United, they've all got different sponsors on the shirts. You know, Liverpool have got AXA as their sponsor on their training tops. Spurs have got somebody else, which is different to their main sponsor. This is where Everton have to be commercially sound, and all of that can go into next year's PSR. It's not backdated. So if Everton have a fantastic PSR year, it means they can overspend because they've covered it by having a fantastic PSR year. The issue's going back 2 years, and I don't agree with us getting penalised for it, but I don't understand enough about it to sit here and tell everyone it's going to be all right, because I don't know. There is people on Twitter and X and whatever you want to call it that are negative, and they get a number and they're like, right, this isn't as good as we thought, this isn't as positive as we thought. There's people there that will tell you that, you know, the club's in a mess and all of these problems. I read the accounts today, and there was one key thing in that account that I took away from it. Not any of the numbers, not any of the things that they're talking about. In there was a signed, guaranteed letter from the Friedkin Group confirming that they will fill any black holes with their own money. Before the war, Farhad Moshiri used to do it, and now the Friedkin Group are doing it. They are showing they are intent in putting Everton back on the map, and that's going to take some pain. It's going to take some growth, but we will get there. We will get there.
Yeah, I mean, we have to. We have to, for what we've put up with for the last couple of seasons. And as you say, the future's looking bright going into the new stadium. David Moyes has done well since he come in, so he's going to take us into Bramley Moore. So future is looking bright. We've said on here many times, Michael, it's not going to be an overnight fix. You know, there is going to be more bumps in the road for us to get, you know, financially stable without worrying about PSR. There is going to be more bumps, and we have said that on here, but we've just got to stick with it. Right, on to the preview, the match on Wednesday, Liverpool versus Everton. What's your thoughts, and how do you feel about going into the Merseyside derby?
I'm relaxed because, you know, it sounds awful, but you never really expect to get anything at Anfield. We're almost trained now to think that we're not going to get anything at Anfield. But from what I saw of Liverpool over the last 2 weeks, they've been poor. I thought they were poor against PSG. albeit it is PSG. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna dig them out too much. They were also poor in the Carabao Cup final, and I don't just mean poor; they looked absolutely bang average. So I'm not expecting much from Liverpool, if I'm being totally honest. However, they've needed a rest. They've needed a rest. They have been playing in 4 competitions. They've done relatively well in the Premier League. Obviously, they're top of the league, and they've only lost, twice or whatever it is. They're doing well. But I just think Everton have also needed a break. We've needed a refreshed energy, and you're seeing players like Ndiaye training again, and McNeil training again, and the players in and around it training again. They're positive things, they're positive things that gets the fans up. I don't know what way the game's going to go. I don't think Everton win, because I don't think we ever go there and win. But I'm certainly not writing off a draw. I'm not sitting here thinking that we can't get a draw out of this Liverpool team, because defensively, they've looked poor. They've looked really poor lately. And we've seemed to lack some ideas. But we scored 2 goals against Liverpool not so long ago, 3-4 weeks ago. I can't see why we couldn't do it again.
I think the break has done Everton good. The likes of Ndiaye and McNeil, you mentioned them 2 players. We've seen the training videos. They're building the fitness up. I think this game probably comes a couple of games too early for them, to be fair. I don't think they're involved. Liverpool, if you throw Ndiaye straight back in, they'll probably just go out to cripple him and could put him out for another couple of weeks. I wouldn't risk Ndiaye against that lot on Wednesday. I'm probably like you and a lot of Everton fans. The 2 Merseyside derbies every season, we do get up for it, especially to go to someone. But I sort of write these games off. I write these games off. I always class the derby, and people are going to shoot me down for this, but I look at Liverpool as it's like a free hit game, isn't it? If we win, we're all cock a hoop. If we get a draw, we're happy with that. But when you look at our record at Anfield, Michael, it's not great. We don't get many decisions at Anfield, especially the derby at their place. I sort of write it off. Get this game out the way. We've got Arsenal at home on Saturday. Just see what we can do when we go there. You mentioned PSG, you mentioned Newcastle. I want to mention one player when it comes to big games, Mohamed Salah. I've seen stats on Salah on big games that he's played in, and his stats aren't great. Mykolenko, we all know, for the last couple of derbies, has had Salah in his pocket. If he can do that again, you're quite right with what you say. You stem their creativity. You stop a lot of their chances, because a lot of their chances over the season come from Salah. They can't rely on Nunez. They do look shaky at the back, which is why I'll probably chance putting Chimiti up front on Wednesday. I watched the game back today, the West Ham game. The likes of Brozier and Chimiti, when they come on, they give Everton a different lift, and they've made positive things happen. Chimiti had a couple of shots that were saved by the keeper. I think if Everton make a couple of changes, we can get at them, especially at the back. Just got to stop them scoring the other end, and I do think Everton have a chance of getting at least a draw.
This is going to sound ballsy, but I actually think we should play 4-4-2 in this game. Because it depends how he sets up. Right? Of late, he's not been keeping the ball on the deck. We know that. He's been playing more long ball, which we don't like. We know that. But he has. If you stick 2 up top, there's more chance that one of them is either going to win it or win the second ball. Now, they're going up against Van Dijk and Konate. So for me, whether he starts Brozier and Chimiti, Beto and Chimiti, I'm not really bothered. But I think he has to start 2 attacking players, because I don't think we create anything down the wings. I think Lindstrom is a poor footballer, and I think Jack Harrison is a slightly better version of Lindstrom, which I never thought I'd say that, by the way, but I think he's slightly better than Lindstrom. Defensively, we've looked sound. You know, Jake O'Brien at the back, Tarkowski, Branthwaite. Now, there's worry around Mikalenko about whether he's going to be in or out following an MRI scan. I don't know. I don't know. None of us know until tomorrow, I suspect. But for me, you're going to have two combative midfielders that are going to stick to being just midfielders, i.e. Garner and somebody alongside him that's just going to win the ball and play it through to the strikers, play it over to the wingers, and just try and get in behind Liverpool. But it's a tough game for that. It's a tough game for that. So I don't know how I'd set up. All I'm saying is we have to get at Liverpool to create chances. And the only way of getting at Liverpool is to keep the ball up their end of the pitch, not ours.
I don't play high balls. I disagree with what you say there, but it is all about opinions because it's bread and butter 9 times out of 10 to Van Dijk and Konate.
I'm not saying I want to play high balls. I don't.
Oh, no,
I want the ball to be on the deck.
If you play two, that I can see why you're saying it. I don't personally play two up front. I don't play two up front. I said this in the Merseyside derby. The likes of Van Dijk and Konate, they both turn like the Titanic. If you can keep the ball on the floor and get it through the channels to whoever we play up front or run at them. We've seen it in games gone by, Michael, with Virgil van Dijk. When the opposition runs at him, he's turned inside out 9 times out of 10. That's why I don't want to see the long ball. That's why I don't go 4-4-2. So my team anyway, Pickford, Mikalenko, I don't think he's going to make it. So I'll probably put Ashley Young there. Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Jake O'Brien. In the middle, Garner Guy, Tim Irabuman, Alcaraz, Brozier on the left, Harrison on the right, and I know he's not very good, but I just don't want to see Jesper Lindstrom and any of Beto or Chimiti up front.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that team. I don't have an issue with that team at all. I just worry how much they'll keep the ball up there. That's all.
I watched the West Ham game again today, as I said, and when Irabuman come on, mate, he made a massive difference. He was running at their defence. He changed the game for us there. You know, I think that the build-up play from him led to the goal, I think, or he had some involvement in the play before we created the chance for the goal. I'd have no problem playing Irabuman before Doucouré. Alcaraz, I'd like to see him in there. Again, he looked all right against West Ham. I've mentioned Chimiti. I do think we can create chances if we play that team. Don't want to see Harrison on the right, but more so I don't want to see Jesper Lindstrom anywhere near the team, mate. So, unfortunately, it's got to be Harrison, and I would have played Brozier on the left.
No, fair enough. Yeah, and look, I have nothing against that team, John. Zero. Like, if that team is picked on Wednesday, I've got nothing against that team, and I've got nothing against keeping the ball on the deck, and I've got nothing against playing the ball through those channels. I just don't think Moyes does it, and that's.
I don't think he does do, and I actually think he still sticks with Doucouré, to be fair. But listen, what do we know? That's why we're not on £5.5 million a year, or £5 million a year, or whatever it is.
It'd be delightful, wouldn't it?
Well, I tell you what, mate, you're not far from it now. Right, goal prediction.
2-2.
Oh, 1-1.
Who's your goal scorers, just out of interest?
Jake O'Brien and Alcaraz.
Okay. Guys, in the comments, let us know which scoreline you think is more likely, either 1-1 or 2-2. You've got until about 7 o'clock Wednesday night, and we will put on a fiver for whichever one you think is more likely to happen. So if you think John's right, you think I'm right, we're going to stick a fiver on it. Look, we could both be wrong and we could win 3-0. But you know, who knows? Right, John, I've got nothing else to add apart from one little bit of transfer rumours, just literally one little piece that I just wanted to just throw in there very quickly, if that's okay. Yeah. You mentioned it earlier that we'd been linked with the centre back Maximus Steve
from Burnley.
Yeah. Rumours are it could be 20 million quid. If you lost Branthwaite, would you be interested in I think he's under 21 international, I think he's.
I don't know much about him, I'm going to be honest with you. But have you seen how many goals Burnley have conceded this season? I mean, it's something ridiculous, like hardly any. Isn't it something like, what is it? I don't know what it is. It's like 9 goals, or is it sort of like kept like 12 or 13 clean sheets or something, haven't they?
Burnley's goal difference this season is well, I can't get it, but they've not conceded a lot.
That's absolutely ridiculous how many clean sheets they've kept. So if he's part of that defence, mate, and we can get
they've conceded 11 goals in 39 games.
That is just ridiculous. That is ridiculous. It's like, it's not even conceding the goal every 3 games. That, I mean, that is off the scale. So if he's part of that defensive line and we can get him for 20 million quid, you know, he's young. We are going to be looking at youth. As I said the other night, we do still need to keep some experience. But the way forward, and I just wanted to add something what you said earlier about David Moyes, and we're not going to get relegated next season, blah, blah, blah. If there's any man out there who can manage a football team on a shoestring budget, well, not a shoestring budget, but a team that's still hampered by PSR, and a rebuild with what money he's got to spend, and going out there and having an eye for a player, because we all know now David Moyes is quite involved now with these transfers, more than the previous manager. There's anyone who can do it, a good job of it, it's probably David Moyes, mate. You know, we've got to trust him. We've seen it in his first stint with his bargain basement buys. Look what he's done with us his first time round. You mentioned what he's done with West Ham as well. So I'm confident we won't be relegated next season. We won't fight relegation. And I think the team will be better than what we've watched the last couple of years.
Just to end on, just because I was looking according to the BBC website, Burnley have conceded 3 goals since the 1st of January.
I mean, sign the whole back line, sell Branthwaite, sell O'Brien, sound, get rid of Tarkowski, and buy their whole back line for 40 million. Sound. Joke, by the way. Joke, by the way.
I think it's a good idea.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Joking. Right, guys, look, we'll leave it there. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. We will see you tomorrow for some form of catch-up video. And then on Wednesday, we do have the watch along. So make sure you bring some popcorn, get yourself some beers, some chocolate, some crippies, and me and John will keep you entertained while we beat the Red Shites 3-0 at Anfield. Jack Harrison with a hat-trick. With Lindstrom assisting all 3 of them.
Flipping over.
Yeah, my God. And then we wake up. So, right, keep smiling, up the toffees. Peace.